Happy Sunday, Real Writers. Chris here for your weekly Journal with Me session. It is just before Thanksgiving, and I thought I'd just pull one card today and get back to a deck I bought a few years ago but haven't really worked with much, the Wildwood Tarot. Some of you, this is an extremely popular deck, so if you know tarot decks, I'm sure you recognize the back. I love this deck. However, it's got a very complex system in and of itself, not just the tarot, but the system. I can't even explain it. I'd have to read it to you. It's a very complex system of the natural world and folktale and mythology in a sort of, cycle of the seasons, centaurs and green man and lots of animals and sort of Celtic symbols and lots of nature, seasons, the turning of the cycles of the season and the year and everything. And it's wonderful, absolutely wonderful, but just it's so complex that I just feel like it would take a year to really get to know this deck. And I will admit, I don't feel like doing that. Maybe at some point. So I felt very intimidated and a tad frustrated by the deck. So the explanations alone are often 2 to 3 pages. Excuse me. So I'm getting a cold. It was inevitable. So yeah, I'm just pulling one card, and we'll work with that, and it'll make things shorter for today. My videos have been pretty long, and I'm sure we're all winding down now, and it's very cold and windy outside, and the wind is taking care of the last of the leaves. It's doing the last of the undressing of the trees, and I felt like a one-card reading today. And to that end, let's get started and see what our card is today. Just quickly, you might see some incense smoke go by. I'm burning some Palo Santo, and I have my peacock ore stone with us today, the stone of happiness, and my selenite tower. So I feel like we're, surrounded by all good things, earth and air and fire, and I have some tea, so that will have to do for water. So I wanted to sort of represent those kinds of things with these cards. Let's turn it around and see what we have. Oh, we have the World Tree. The World Tree. I'll zoom in a bit so you can see what it looks like. There's a labyrinth, and then there's a door at the base of the tree there. And it's so nice how I love the artwork, how the lines in the tree sort of mirror that of the labyrinth. I mean, not literally, but they have the same kind of feel. And then you have the tree, and all of the seasons are represented in the tree. So we have spring, summer, fall, and winter going from left to right in a clockwise motion. So the World Tree is our card today, which is not going to want to stand up. I'm going to leave it up straight enough that you can see it. Again, I have no idea why these cards don't stand up straight. So let me share with you from the booklet, not 2 pages of stuff. The great World Tree marks the end of the wanderer's journey. All 4 seasons are represented in the branches of the tree, and at its base is a labyrinth of the kind found in many parts of the world and dating back to prehistoric times. The World Tree sits at the heart of the cycle in the quadrant of fire. It encompasses all the different aspects of the wheel and the human aspects of the major arcana. As the symbol of the conscious bridge between the living macrocosm and the inner universe of the human psyche, the World Tree marks the end of one journey for the wanderer and the beginning of another. The wanderer began the journey around the wheel with an innocent and childlike curiosity, but the subtle growing process experienced on the way has brought inner gifts of wisdom and awareness. The final step is to follow the path through the living maze and enter the heart of the World Tree to become one with the wholeness of the universal mind. What may be found beyond the door is both individual and universal, for encompassed within the branches of the world tree are the 4 seasons of the cycle of life. Through the restful healing of winter to the fertile freshness of spring, the power and joy of summer, and the wisdom and maturity of autumn, the cosmic light of universal understanding shines from the heart of the tree, creating a bridge to the source of all consciousness and life. The universe and all its blessings are available to everyone who seeks knowledge and wisdom with a sincere heart. On every level, the cosmos has a generous bounty and gives freely of its rich nourishment and fulfillment. No matter how long the journey of life may be, however many twists and turns the maze may offer us, in the end, if we persevere, we will reach the point of fulfillment. This also may relate to material gain and wealth, or to spiritual happiness and emotional security, but after the long process of learning, responsibility, and rebirth, it is now time to bathe in the light of renewal, attainment, and personal triumph. Breathe in the rich air, drink of the sweet water, and rejoice in the warming fire of the universal life force. Well, this is a wonderful card to take with us into Thanksgiving, isn't it? What came up for me with this card is, like I just said, Thanksgiving. Because this tree could also be a family tree. And it could be, in terms of family, not just literally what a family tree looks like if you drew one out of your family, which could be fun. Maybe something to do at Thanksgiving, unless it will start an argument. Most things can, so be careful. On Thanksgiving, there's something about that day. But also because everyone at the table is in a different season of their life and in a different season of their year, really, and perhaps in a different season of something they're trying to achieve, whether their career or something creative, or in terms of relationships or spirituality or education, whatever it is. We're all in different seasons. We all have different cycles imposed on us, created by us, chosen or accepted. The cycles, the natural cycles of time and seasons, and so we're juggling many, many different things. So this could be a wonderful time to sort of take stock of that, look around the table and take note of that. Maybe consider that when you're talking to someone with whom you usually have a lot of friction. Maybe ask them questions instead of trying to tell them what you think. It might be a good idea to go around the table and ask everyone, what was your greatest challenge this year? And then go around again and ask, what was your greatest success? So that you end on a positive note. And the greatest success doesn't have to be something huge. It could be a tiny shift in someone's life that felt like it was a big deal to them. That's what's important. So it's not a competition, and it's not a chance to whine and rant, just to take stock. So maybe that's something that you might do around the table, and it will help you all get to know each other better, because as you can see, and as the booklet talks about, everyone's walking a different path. The labyrinth is different for everyone, but everyone walks it before they go through the door. And now it says, the final step is to follow the path through the living maze and enter the heart of the world tree to become one with the wholeness of the universal mind. And a lot of the language here talks about a sort of autumnal harvesting of your hard work and effort and taking stock and being rewarded. And that's what this time of year is all about. There was the frenzy and urgency of spring, and then the, passion and power of summer, pushing, and doing. And then we slide into autumn, where things start to slow down, and then we're going to be heading into winter soon, in the next month, where things will really slow down and everyone sort of goes within, in a way. Although the holidays kind of ruin that idea in a way. Not in a bad way. It just depends on how you celebrate the holidays. If they make it hard, then maybe change how you're doing that, if that's possible. there's supposed to be more of a celebration, and commercialism makes things really crazy. I mean, Black Friday is hardly the best way to spend the day after Thanksgiving, but if that's something you and your family do and it's fun for you, go for it. It makes me want to hide under the bed, but everyone to each his own. And if you're good at it, I am impressed and I admire you, because it takes a certain skill and grit to get through that. And I hope you get some great deals. So that's what came up for me. I'd love to know what came up for you. Let's journal for 10 minutes, and then, we'll see what pops up. You might want to write yourself, what was your biggest challenge this year, and what was your greatest success? I think that's probably what I'll be writing about. And why don't you do the same? And then maybe, I'll share mine, and maybe in the comments you guys can share yours. So let's journal together for 10 minutes. For me, for biggest challenge, greatest success, I feel like they're of a piece, two sides of the same coin. For me this year, it was escaping the things that I created 10 years ago that I thought were what I wanted and would bring me a sense of security and order, but at the same time, a framework within which to be creative and to have fun while staying grounded. And so I feel like escaping the things that I created and that were forced upon me that weren't right for me was my biggest challenge and my greatest success in a way. And now for me, 2020 is going to be about being more deliberate and open-minded about what is the next phase for me. And I want to just drill down and declutter and get rid of a lot of stuff, literally, figuratively, metaphorically, physically. So that's going to be what it is for me in 2020. And so that brings me to another question that you could ask at the table, or you could ask of yourself today, maybe journal on this after this video ends. And that is, what is your greatest success? What is your biggest challenge for the decade? And what was your greatest success of the decade? Maybe look at that as well. No pressure. If that sort of makes you hyperventilate, then don't do it. Maybe it'll come to you later. But I'd love to know, share these challenges and successes in the comments. Remember, if you're going to put in a challenge, also put in a success. There's balance, right? There's light and dark. So don't just rant on about your challenges in the comments if you'd like to share. Also share your greatest success. And it can be something very small. It doesn't have to be a big deal. It doesn't have to be, I lost 200 pounds, or I traveled the world, or I published 4 books and they all won prizes, or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be huge. It's not a competition. That's something that was important for me to step away from as well. The competition of social media. Let's all step away from that. So share that. I'd love to know. And just so you know, later in December, I'm going to be, over the holidays, I'm going to be recording videos about numerology and the tarot, and the cards that correspond to your life path. And I'm going to be doing it over on my Tarot for Writers channel, because I am going to be focusing on your writing path, your writing career, your writing life. So if you're a writer, or you would like to be, tune in to that channel at the end of December, beginning of January, and you'll see videos there that will be going through the major arcana, however you want to say it. Some of them, not all of them, that relate to numerology and your writing life and possibilities, etc. So I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. Okay, everyone, I hope you have a wonderful week and a happy Thanksgiving and happy writing.